Today, just for you, I'm going over weeks 4 and 5 of my cutting phase. Boy, week 5 was tough. Hey, this is Colin DeWaay. If you want to end the yo-yo dieting cycle and create results that will last forever, start by subscribing today and click on that bell notification so you don't miss anything. So when we last left off, Paul had just adjusted my macros and he had dropped my carbs by 40 grams. And after 1 week of that, we saw that I saw a decent drop in the scale, losing about 0.9 pounds. And I had mentioned that we were going to stick with that for the next week, and I actually saw another really good drop, dropping about 1.3 pounds on average for the week. Not only that, but I saw some really nice changes in body composition happening at the same time, so we were in a really good spot. And as would be expected, we just continued on with the macros for the following week. However, week 5 turned out to be a real challenge. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away at the age of 90, and this is one of the most amazing men that I'll ever know, and one of the strongest men I'll know as well. He beat cancer 9 different times. Just really inspirational man, and I might make another video about this in the future, but we had to make our way up north for his funeral, which was in Iowa, and my parents live in Minnesota, so we kind of went back and forth a little bit between the two, and we spent 5 days there for the funeral and with family. So obviously there was more important things to think about than just nailing nutrition, and this is where taking your time in a fat loss phase, whether it be prep or just your own fat loss phase just to get in better shape, really has a lot of value, because you just never know what life is going to throw at you, and things are always going to come up. There's always going to be some sort of obstacle that's going to come your way. It's pretty much inevitable. So if you wait as long as possible and then try to do it in as short a time as possible and just try to cram it all in and race to the finish line, it really makes it a lot more difficult if things do come up. So because we were on the road and there was a lot of family around, there was a lot of get-togethers and eating out and things like that, so a lot of stuff out of my control, and even though I hadn't planned on it, I also kind of had a couple drinks every single day and just didn't really worry too much about it. Now don't get me wrong, I didn't just say screw it and not pay attention at all. I still paid attention, I still controlled my total calories, I still made sure I hit my protein, but I was okay with interchanging carbs and fats more. I was okay with having some alcohol and just accounting for it. I was okay with estimating calories and knowing that it wasn't going to be spot on, and just being more flexible. Thankfully, I'd also worked ahead on my workouts, so I didn't have to do too much while I was there. I still left myself with 2 workouts to do, and I wanted to make sure I got them in. And it was a little bit of a challenge. We were kind of in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, and I actually had to drive to a whole other state just to find a gym. Now, that sounds a little dramatic, but it was about a 20-mile drive up to Worthington, Minnesota, where I went to DeWaay. I didn't have a scale with me, so I didn't know what was going on with my body weight during the trip, nor was I even concerned about it. Like I said, more important things to worry about, and I was really focused on family during this time. But when we got back, I did jump on a scale that Tuesday morning, and I was at 179.6, which was up about 0.4 pounds from before we left. So knowing everything that had been going on, between the stress, between foods being off and more restaurant foods that are typically high in sodium, and the travel and everything else, it only stands to reason that weight could have been elevated a little bit. So Paul just wanted to see how things would go the next few days once we got back into the routine and everything, and see if weight started to come back down on its own, which I suspected it probably would, and he did as well, which it does seem to be happening. So we'll probably keep things the same, but I'm going to check in with him in a couple days, and we'll see how things are looking and make an adjustment accordingly. I'll tell you what though, I am so happy and thankful that it is a deload this week. I am mentally and physically worn out right now, so it could not have been better timed. So I am in the middle of a deload where things will be a little bit easier and I won't have to go so hard, and I can get some recovery and start feeling better both mentally and physically. If there's any lesson you can take away from this, it's that you can be more flexible and you don't have to be spot on all the time. And when life throws curveballs at you and things come up, you don't have to be perfect to continue to see progress, or to at least keep yourself from going backwards. So often we feel like if we're off just a little bit, if we screw up by a couple hundred calories, if we don't know what's in some sort of food that we eat, that everything just goes to the wind, and somehow we magically gain 5 pounds. That just doesn't happen. How you gain 5 pounds is by going, well, I don't really know, things are off, screw it, who cares, let me binge my face off and I'll get back on it later. And then you start kind of beating yourself up, and it usually snowballs from there. So you have to remember that there's times in life where we can be more or less flexible, and that's okay. Just understand that how you decide to approach any situation in life with regards to your training and nutrition is totally up to you, and it's okay. There are no right or wrong answers. What's more important is that you make that decision, you be okay with it, and even if you know that there's going to be some consequences from that, you just know that you are making that decision and it's okay, and you're not going to beat yourself up about anything. By the way, if you want to learn how to track restaurant food, even if nutrition information is not available online, make sure you check out this video, and I'll see you over there.